The rain fell in thin silver sheets over the gardens of Veyra-Prime, a world known for its crystal skies and burning sunsets. Today, however, the sky seemed to mourn with her. Lyra stood at the edge of the memorial grove, her wings folded tight against her back. The ceremonial fire still smoldered on the pyre where her husband's body had been laid to rest. Zerani funerals were swift. Flame returned flesh to the stars, and the ashes were carried on the winds of eternity. But as the flames died, the space around her was painfully empty. No relatives had come. No clan elders had spoken. Her husband, Kalen, had been a soldier who broke traditions, leaving the safety of their homeworld to fight alongside the Terrans in their endless border wars. The Zerani considered it dishonor. The Dominion called it betrayal. And so, when he fell in battle, there was no one left but her. No one but one man who stood quietly at the edge of the grove, hands folded, head bowed in respect. A human. He wore a battered military jacket, the kind that had seen 1,000 skirmishes. His hair was streaked with gray at the temples, though his stance was straight, steady. He had spoken no words during the ceremony, offered no interruption. Yet he had come. Lyra stared at him through her tears. "Why are you here, human?" she asked at last, her voice trembling. He lifted his gaze, eyes soft yet unflinching. "Because I was his battle partner, and he was my brother." His name was Captain Daniel Mercer. After the mourners had gone, though in truth there had been none to leave, he approached her. His movements carried the quiet respect of a man who knew grief intimately. "I don't mean to intrude," Daniel said, his voice low, but I couldn't let him be remembered by silence alone. Lyra's claws flexed at her sides. "He chose you over his clan. He left me for wars that were not ours." Her wings shuddered as pain lanced through her chest. "And now he is ash." Daniel bowed his head. He didn't fight for the wars. He fought for the people beside him. For me. For the squad. And he hesitated, eyes flicking to her. "For you." Her breath caught. "Do not speak lies to comfort me." He shook his head slowly. "On the night before the last mission, he spoke of you. Said your laughter gave him courage. Said he wanted to survive just to hear it again. That's the truth." The words pierced her grief like light through storm clouds. She turned away, tears tracing the ridges of her cheeks. Daniel did not press further. He simply stood with her as the fire guttered low. Days passed. Lyra remained in her dwelling, surrounded by silence. Her kin did not come. Neighbors whispered that she had married a traitor. It was Daniel who knocked at her door. When she opened it, he held a small metal box. "These were his things," he said softly. "Personal effects recovered from the field. The brass let me bring them." Inside lay Kalen's insignia, a weathered knife, and a folded piece of cloth, the human squad's banner, marked with names burned into the fabric. His name among them. Her hands trembled as she touched it. "He carried this?" Daniel nodded. "Everywhere." Lyra sank onto the floor, clutching the cloth. "Why do humans do this? Fight battles not your own, die on foreign soil, carry tokens like children with toys." Daniel sat across from her, his face solemn. "Because when you fight shoulder to shoulder, the soil doesn't matter anymore. The only thing that matters is the person beside you." Kalen understood that. She studied him through her grief. There was no boast in his words, no arrogance. Only truth. Weeks turned into months. Daniel visited often, not with demands, but with presence. He repaired the leaking roof of her dwelling. He helped gather food from the markets when whispers made her unwelcome. He never spoke of obligation, never implied debt. One evening, as twilight painted the sky, she asked, "Why do you continue to come?" "Your duty to him is done." Daniel leaned back, gazing at the stars. Because he was my friend. And because you're alone. Humans don't leave family behind, even if that family wasn't ours to begin with. The words stirred something fragile in her chest. Among her people, bonds ended with death. But humans carried them beyond graves. The turning point came when the Dominion enforcers arrived. They stormed into the settlement, demanding records, searching for collaborators. Lyra's blood ran cold. Her husband's name was already blackened. They would drag her away, brand her as traitor's widow. But Daniel stood in their path. This house, he said firmly, is under Terran protection. You want to get to her, you go through me. The enforcer sneered. You humans spread like vermin. This is Zerani soil. Step aside. Daniel's stance did not waver. Soil doesn't matter, he said, echoing his earlier words. Only the person beside you. His hand rested near the pistol at his belt, steady as stone. The standoff stretched long, until the enforcers, snarling, turned away. When they were gone, Lyra stared at him in shock. You would fight your war again for me? Daniel gave a small, tired smile. Not for the war. For Kaelin.
For you.
Her heart trembled.
Seasons changed.
Lyra began to cook again, filling her dwelling with scents of spices she had long abandoned. Daniel shared human recipes in return, strange dishes, hearty and plain, but comforting. They laughed, sometimes softly, sometimes with tears in their eyes. One night, beneath the stars, she whispered, "He loved you, did he not?" Daniel's gaze softened. Like a brother. And you loved him. He nodded. Every soldier loves the ones who keep them alive. She reached across the table, claws brushing his hand. Then perhaps, by remembering him together, we both can heal. For the first time in many moons, her wings unfolded fully, not in grief, but in quiet acceptance. Years later, the settlement would remember the widow who had once stood alone at her husband's funeral, and the human who stood beside her when no one else would. Children would speak of the strange pair who shared meals, stories, and laughter across species lines. Some whispered of companionship, others of something deeper. But all agreed, they carried Kaelin's memory not as a weight, but as a bond that united them. And Lyra, though her heart still ached, no longer walked in silence. Her husband had died far from home, his ashes carried on alien winds. Yet because of one human, his memory lived, not in loneliness, but in love. At the grove where his ashes had been scattered, Lyra often stood with Daniel by her side. "Do you think he knows?" she asked once, voice soft as the rain. Daniel looked skyward, lips curling in a faint smile.
Yeah.
I think he's laughing at us right now. Probably telling me I still can't shoot straight. She laughed through her tears, wings fluttering. And in that moment, she knew her husband's story was not one of abandonment, but of bonds that outlived death. Because when the alien girl's husband died, only his human battle partner came to the funeral. And he never left her side again.